Hi everyone, welcome back to another review for one of my favorite apps on the iPhone this time. And you may have previously seen my very first video here on YouTube, which was reviewing the latest version of the macOS app Tweetbot 3. And if you are at all interested in Twitter, feel free to check that out. It is a third-party Twitter client app that just was released not that long ago, and it was a much needed redesign from the previous version. So let's go ahead and dive right into this new app that I will talk about today. And it's actually not that all new, but this is one of my favorite platforms that I've been posting some design work on lately. So I just wanted to do a quick overview of the actual iOS app that was made for the iPhone. So the app we're talking about today is, I hope it's very obvious, Dribbble. And it's a platform that designers post most of their work on in terms of stuff that they want to include in their portfolio. And I think that it's gotten a lot of flack over the years, and it's kind of been very justly due to a lot of the mostly finished work that's posted now. It's mainly showing off all of the things that you've been working on and mainly finished things, whereas before it was more of a platform to get feedback on current stuff that you are working on. And a lot of people have kind of stayed away from the platform now that it's mainly just for making creative and probably not realistic UIs or designs for actual products, although there is still a group of people and companies who try to post work that is actual real work and that would apply to like real world type stuff. And so I think that's another topic for another video, just because there's a lot of history behind the reason why people aren't on Dribbble anymore, or those who aren't necessarily making work that is actually real. But I want to dive in a little bit and go over the interactions that were well thought out in this app made for the iPhone. So in the Dribbble app, the first thing that I noticed right away was this nice little bouncing illustration from the basketball, and then it goes away as soon as you pull to refresh. And as you look here, you can see all the different grid layout of the latest shots that are being displayed from the people you're following. It's highlighted on the bottom left in the following tab with the house icon. And that icon choice is kind of strange to me, because when I think of people I'm following, I don't think of a house, but I do recognize that this is probably saying like this is your normal home screen, which is the same as the web version. So that's originally the platform where it was launched was on the internet, and then later on they partnered with an independent developer to build this app and then fully integrate it into their Dribbble brand system. So I kind of just want to go over the icons now that we're talking about them. Under the Recents tab, once you click that, you could see the highlighted color changes from the following home icon to the Recents, which is the globe icon. Another interesting choice, because again, when I think of recent posts, I don't think of a globe that would represent that. And I am curious to know why they went with that design decision. And so again, you have the bouncing ball animation. When you pull to refresh, you're able to change the layout from a grid format, I'm guessing, to a column when you click here on the icon with the solid square versus the 4 squares, which represents the grid. And once you do that, you have this column layout very similar to Instagram. And also you can see here on each post there is a eye icon, a little quote icon, and also a heart icon. An eye represents how many people have actually viewed your shot, and the quote represents how many people have commented on your shot, and the hearts obviously for how many people have liked your shot. And one of the things that I really like that Dribbble ties in with everything is it all relates to the theme of basketball. So they have obviously the name Dribbble representing somebody dribbling a basketball, and They have all sorts of different lingo mixed into the app. Like you post a shot for your images of the work that you like to display. That's representing somebody taking a shot in a basketball game, which I thought is awesome because I am a huge basketball fan. And they have their own podcast called Overtime. They have things called a Rebound, which I'm sure we'll show here in this little overview. And they have tons of other things, playoffs and buckets, and they use all sorts of different language. I think it's really unique, and especially to their brand. So this is just going to go over a few more shots here on the recents tab of other people who have posted recently. I'm not sure these are people I'm following. I don't think that's the case. So let's go ahead and go over to the popular tab. And once you click that, there was a little animation there for a refresh shot. So you can actually select the time frame for the most popular posts that are liked over all the people on Dribbble. So here is more than likely you're going to find out other newer posts that have been liked by the community. And again, we have that same ability to select from the column versus the grid format. And once you click this little now button here, you get this nice animation. I'm just going to click done. So once you click it, it hovers over the middle of the screen. And I like how it transitions very, not too quickly, but very kind of slowly. And you can select here from this list of a time frame of the most popular shots. So let's select last week. And you can see here the most popular shots that were posted from last week, and there were some good ones. I'm going to say there's probably a couple here that I've liked, and I wish it would show me in the grid view that I have liked it. So I'm hovering over on the first one here under the apps for kids. Nothing shows up, but once I click it, it actually displays the shot and the description, as well as the comments and the number of likes and the number of views. And so this one was very popular, had over 1,000 likes and 12,000 views. So great job to Mike over at Creative Mints. I think he's probably the top 5 people on Dribbble that post work and get the most recognition. So kudos to him. And yeah, so this is just a very interesting choice here. They do have the little icon for those shots that are GIFs. So they are animated. Gleb is one of my favorite designers, by the way. If you haven't checked out his work, I highly recommend it because of his animation style. As you can see here, it's very futuristic, and I don't know how he does it. He is an amazing designer. And yeah, so that shows the GIF, and you can see the heart is highlighted, as I did like this post from last week. And we can kind of go in a little bit more towards the bottom. One thing about Dribbble that has been constant is this little color picker here on the underneath the tag section. It's an area that uses an algorithm, I believe, that tracks all the colors that are used inside your shot. And then they generate this nice little color palette. And one of the things most people say is that colors are free, and you can pretty much use colors for your projects. And especially if you find them here on shots on Dribbble, you can take those colors and borrow them for your own use, which is something I've used in the past. It's been very helpful when trying to find certain colors for any project that I'm working on. And so that is a very useful feature of Dribbble that I really enjoy. And there's a nice little feature as well. Once you click on a certain color in the palette, I'm going to click on the middle here. It will take you to what I believe should be a selection of other shots here. It opened up a browser view. But once you do that, it shows you all these other shots that have a similar color or the exact color. And other people obviously are using this same color. So it's pretty cool to see that. And I'm going to just go ahead and go back to the app itself. So I'm going to hit done there. And back in the Dribbble app, you can see the comment section. You're able to see the time from when they left the comment. Also, you can like the comment. And obviously there's about 34 of them here on Gleb's shot, and everybody's saying how great it is. And obviously, as you can see there, and it actually just shot me right back to the popular page once I scrolled all the way back to the top, which is a nice little fade in interaction here as I'm clicking and dragging with my finger on my phone. And that's another animation that I really like for the design of this app. And now that we're back on this screen, there are 3 other icons on the very top right here. And one is a bucket, which is something I mentioned earlier. It is a mechanism of capturing people's shots and keeping them to reference for later for inspiration. And that is another one of my favorite features of Dribbble. And as you can see here, I created these certain buckets and I've kept shots in there. For this one, I'll just throw it inside interactions for now. And you see that nice little minimization effect that just happened here. I'm going to add it to the apps too, just to see that same animation one more time. And I like how it reminds me so much of macOS, and whenever you do a shrink action from the screen you're in, it just has that genie effect if you have that on. And once we're done here, we just click done, and then it slowly fades away. And I'm actually not sure what the sort of compass navigation icon will do. I'm guessing that will open up the web client, and of course it did. Great. That was actually very clear of what that icon did. And then you click on the share button and it'll allow you to share on each of your certain social media sites, whatever other apps that you have installed. And we'll just go ahead and click out of that. That's the standard iOS share screen. So then we'll go back to our main view here and we'll continue on with the tabs. And we'll click GIFs, and this primarily only shows GIFs, and that's to be expected, I would say, because that is very clear on the little icon tag they have there. It's very reminiscent of the tag that they have on each shot. And I think that is the right way to go there, because I have no idea how you would create a GIF icon that would represent the actual functionality of a GIF. And if I'm saying that wrong, some people say GIF, I'm so sorry. And you can definitely call me out on that in the comments. So now we have another button on the left of now, and it's popular for the moment, and you can select recents, views, comments. I'm going to select comments for the GIFs tab. And again, in the grid view, I don't see what changed. And so I'm going to go to the column view, see what happened. And right here under Magic Unicorn, we have 44 comments, 31, 30. So I'm guessing it's organizing them by the amount of comments, which is a strange decision. I'm not sure if that's very valuable for the users. I'm not sure if I would ever use that functionality. So that's interesting. They chose to display that as a sorting option. And I'm going to go back to popular and see which shots. These are all very, very much the same, just organized a little differently. So again, we can select the time frame, which is nice. We have a few options here. I'm just going to select out of that and go to the next tab. So under the more icon, we have a group of other icons that say drag the icons to organize the tabs. Now, I don't know what this will do. So let's go ahead and do as it says. Click an icon. I'm clicking on debuts, dragging down to following, and then it replaced following. Interesting. I honestly thought it would add another icon and possibly shrink down the menu of the tabs that are on the bottom at the moment. So that is a very interesting decision to make for a design purpose. So I'm just going to remove that and put that back here, the following. And you can see there are quite a few other options that might be valuable for people who are looking for a job, who are new to the platform under debuts, and then also for teams and rebounds and playoffs. So I do want to dive into each of those as well. And at the moment, I'm guessing that under the more tab, I wouldn't expect to see this necessarily. I would actually expect to see more so the profile of my own. And I'm actually going to click on my little profile picture there and see what happens. So right now I see a drop down of my name, the capability of clicking upload, checking my messages, my activity, and settings. So now activity is actually displayed on the top right as well next to the search icon. So it's interesting they decided to keep that in here as well. So I'm going to click on upload because I haven't had the chance yet to use the upload capability on the mobile app. So I'm just going to click there, and this is a very standard iOS selection sheet. So I can choose any of these to upload a shot, and I am going to try that out, but not today. Let's go ahead and click cancel. And then under messages, you can see a few other people who have reached out. I'm just going to click back out of there. And under activity, you'll see all the different people who have commented and liked. Now, it's strange that here the sorting options aren't as clear. And now we can see you can kind of organize your activity feed by clicking on the button there, the little settings cog. And that's not very clear to me from a visual standpoint. I would expect the same treatment as they used previously for the now and the time frame selection pop-ups. So interesting choice that they went with there. And just going to go ahead and click back out of the activity and go back to the profile area, click settings. And here you can see all the different settings that are able to be enabled or disabled. So standard practice there, and going to click back. Now I'm wondering if the functionality is going to remain the same if I don't drag the icons to the organizing part of the tabs here. If I just select them and don't drag, I would expect to still see that view. So let's go ahead and click them. And it does. So that is a very smart feature there, where I don't have to drag these to the tab at the bottom of the navigation in order to see what the actual view would be for this icon and debuts area. So now that I'm here, I can see all these new shots. I do lose the bottom navigation, which is kind of frustrating. I'm expecting that would have stayed even though I clicked out of it and still kept the back button functionality. So now that I'm looking at it here, checking out the different debuts, there's a lot of great younger designers, not necessarily in age, but in experience, that are joining the platform every day. And I'm really stoked to welcome each of them. And again, we have the same type of organization functionality, column, grid, time frame, as well as organizing the shots by popular recent views and comments. So we'll go ahead and go back here, click on playoffs. Again, another reference to the basketball theme here. And I believe with the playoffs, if somebody rebounds your shot, and we'll go over rebound very shortly, then if there's multiples of them, it will start a playoff for who made the best version of that original design. And it's a really unique thing. I've actually never participated, but I will be in the future, just to try and make a rebound of someone else's design. So let's go ahead and click back. And I'm going to click on teams very quickly. I do want to get to the rebounds. And for the teams here, this just displays all the different teams that are on Dribbble. So these are companies who have profiles where they are able to assign their players per se. So people who work for the company, designers and such, they are part of a team organization on Dribbble, and they are still able to still have their individual account and be part of a team, which means they can post work for their company as well as post their own personal work on their profile. So it's a nice little feature, and we're just going to go ahead and go back. And now to get to the rebound. So I mentioned this earlier, again, keeping with the basketball theme, and rebounds are people who have made a redesign or made their own version, a copy with a subtle tweak to a specific shot that was already made. So as you can see here, I'll take Sanders' example for reference, and one thing that he's been doing is uploading these shots daily of these nice little skeuomorphic realistic type icons, and you can actually rebound shots that aren't of the same thing. So I believe he's been making rebounds of a series of shots, and you can see the little highlighted rebound here on the top hand icon nav there. There is the circle surrounding the rebound icon. And so normally when you post a rebound, it is taking a shot that someone else created and putting your own style or twist on it. And it's a nice little feature. I've used it a few times, and in a similar way as well as Sandor, I had a series of shots and I kept rebounding from them that were all along the same theme. So that worked out really well. And I'm going to check out the last tab here, or icon, is the jobs tab. So I'm going to click that, and it opens up all these job postings that these companies are pretty much displaying on the platform, which is a nice feature if you are somebody who is looking for a design role. There are lots and lots of positions, as you can see. I believe some of these are not open to the public, and you have to have a pro account, and that is, I believe, $38 a month now. And I think it's totally worth it if you are somebody who is newer to the design industry and are trying to break through by creating a bunch of work to display on your profile, and then having the ability to reach out to companies who are actually advertising on this community slash platform to actually try to get designers for hire. And so I'm just going to go back to the home tab here, and that is going to wrap up the review for the Dribbble iOS app. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you have enjoyed these types of review videos here on YouTube. I'm very new to this, so please forgive me if I sound like I'm draining on. I'm super excited about this stuff in terms of actually talking about design and looking at the decisions that the designers and developers made when creating apps, and especially apps that I enjoy using each day. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. And if you are on Dribbble, please, I guess, check out my work. And I'll conclude a link in the bottom of the profile here on YouTube. And I'm actually running a nice little challenge for myself if you'd like to check that out. Here's a quick preview of one of the shots that I made, a Super Nintendo controller. And so again, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.